Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, May 14th, around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. What a very busy day on the sun. First off, the largest solar flare of the current solar cycle, 25, and the largest solar flare since 2017 was observed on the limb, and you're watching it now. It was around active region 3664, which brought us all of those X flares, but it was around the west limb. It was an X 8.7. Can you believe that? The event peaked at 16.51 UTC, and, well, there was a second event, an M 4.4 flare right here in the vicinity of a newly assigned AR 3682. Things are getting spicy on the sun. Keep calm. It's boom time. Another round of severe weather pummels the southeast. Take a look.
Oh my God, we're getting hail right now.
We have massive road flooding here.
And there are more storms on the way. Stay tuned for the full forecast. Another round of storms are threatening central Florida tonight. Take a look at that. Strong storms will be on tap early Wednesday morning, which is why first warning meteorologists are calling a first warning weather day. Hey, hey. And that means heavy forecasts for Florida. Take a look at the hail map for May 13th. 14,782 impacted by 1 inch or larger hail. 562 impacted by 1.57 inch or larger. That is 25 square miles of gorilla hail yesterday. And the big winner chicken dinner was Florida. We'll take a look at the full forecast here. Heavy rainfall, severe weather, and record warmth across the south. Flash flood monitoring in Hawaii as well. Severe thunderstorms and excessive rainfall concerns continue for portions of the southeast today. Furthermore, a new daily record high temperature is expected for portions of South Florida and southern Texas, the nexus of the schmaxis. The rainfall potential increases later this week for East Texas and most of Louisiana, with additional flooding available. For Hawaii, flooding issues increase from a nearby low-pressure system. Take a look at the flood warnings and watches here on the Mississippi down through the Ohio. Click on your county for more information. We'll take a quick look at the GFS model. You can see most of the severe weather has moved offshore of Florida, but there is a chance it could explode overnight in the next 3 to 6 hours. Hours of powers. Some heavy weather here moving across Kansas by Thursday morning. And then the threat explodes Friday across Oklahoma and Texas, as you can see those systems, and then the southeast as we enter Friday and the weekend. More heavy weather for the east. Let's take a quick look at the total snowfall accumulated so we can get a better grip on what's going on in the next few days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then next week, the end of May, Thursday, Friday, a system may be moving into the Rockies here, and it could be the end of snow as we enter June, coming soon, and that's a boom. It's not only hailing in the Americas and places like Texas and Florida, but it's also hailing in France. And they apparently have some poop in their ponds. France is panicking. Giant hail of 8 inches is destroying houses and vehicles. Let's take a look at the salacious video. Holy macaroni. We may have to pause this. Okay, we've got it uploaded in high def. Take a look at the hail in France. Kiss my palms.
Et ce grêlon, il fait entre 9 et 10 cm. Et on est qu'en zone rouge à Vichy. Donc tout ce qui est dans le bas.
The French sky was covered by a storm of giant falling rocks, as reported by Météo France. Dark skies Sunday afternoon for wind and storms.
Yes, definitely falling rocks. Actually, it's ice. But I do digress. Heavy hail in France is causing panic. At least 14 killed as billboard collapses and heavy winds in Mumbai during a thunderstorm. The billboard collapsed on some houses and a petrol station next to a busy road in the eastern suburb of Ghaktapar following gusty winds and rain. It's insane. Let's take a quick look at this. We'll blow it up for you. And you can see this massive sign here and all the people gathering around, talk of the town. But very deadly experience here, as we can see 14 killed as this billboard collapsed. Seismic update. Most recent rumbler just kicked off, and we're talking about Puerto Rico, 5.6. Up on the surface there. Good news is it was nowhere near land. No one probably felt this. Bad news, it could result in maybe some landslides deep in the ocean here, which could cause tsunamis and local effects. No tsunami warning has been issued. Worldwide, we have low-level earthquake activity, period. We do have continued uplift at the Iceland Volcano near Grindavik, which is bad news for the Reykjanes Peninsula moving forward. The uplift continues at the volcano and has now exceeded 1, 2, 3, 4 other eruptions. Just one other eruption had more uplift than this one, so an eruption is imminent at any time now. So in the next few days, we will see another rift eruption in Iceland, and it will make the news once again. This has nothing to do with the space weather that we just experienced. You can see the uplift has been going on for days now, about 60 days since the last eruption. Rome Volcano, the alert level has been downgraded to level 3. Good news. That means the activity is quieting down there after all of the biome on the entire island was completely torched and covered in ash. Thoughts and prayers go out to those affected. Sabancay today, 22,000. Semaru to 15. Liwa Tobi, 7,000 foot puff. We also have Sabancay to 25,000 foot today. Semaru to 15. Popo to 20,000. Fuego to 17. Take a look at this. Sad news is coming in from Merapi volcano area as heavy monsoon rains have triggered major lahars that have killed at least 37 local people, with several injuries reported. You can see the pictures are blurry, but this is all mud flood. Did I say that? I actually said mud flood. 37 fatalities follow major mud flood, aka lahars, triggered by heavy rainfalls in Sumatra. So, bad news there. What else do we have today? Reventador, 15. Fuego to 19. Reykjanes. The ground uplift is persisting in Svartsengi, and an eruption is imminent. That wraps up the list with the last report here as Semaru. Who knew? Now you do. 15,000 foot puff. Space weather is the big news. Take a look. We've had 3 X flares, and one of them was the largest X flare of solar cycle 25, followed by a long duration M flare, both from separate regions. Holy macaroni. So let's break this down for you and take a look at the HMI intensity. So we had an X flare from departing 3664, which is now gone and off the list, and the new active region 3680 provided the long duration M flare, I believe. Let me just confirm that. 3682, they're saying. All right, let's see where that is. Okay, so that came from the lower region right here. So that's where that M flare came from, long duration M flare. And the X flare came from that persistent 3664, which has given us at least a dozen X flares. I don't have the actual number here, but quite significant. And the largest X flare of the solar cycle. Now, this solar cycle still pales in comparison to at least a dozen other solar cycles prior to it. It's one of the weakest solar cycles in hundreds of years, even though there's X flares. Remember, solar cycle 24 had tons of X flares, including X flares larger than this. So there is that, and those are the facts. But did these flares create any problems for Earth? Well, probably not. There was a radio blackout associated with the initial blast here. I don't believe we had it up, but it was an R3 radio blackout, and we are still waiting for geomagnetic storm to come tonight. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've got some CMEs modeled on the WSA Enlil spiral that are going to impact in any time now. So anytime now, we're waiting for a G2 geomagnetic storm. But before we get there, let's take a look at the last 36 hours on the sun. So I pulled up the last Go C2 footage, and we're going to play it for you. This is the last 36 hours on the sun, hours of powers. Take a look at this. Boom. Halo. That was the long duration M flare yesterday, and then boom, 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 boom. And the last two gigantic blasts were the X flare, the X8, and the long duration M. So the last two big, bottom right, top left, there's the long duration M flare. You can see the radiation affecting boom, 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 boom. Take a look at that. Absolutely spectacular. Our sun is quite active, and the Earth facing quiet is still holding. So even though we had a huge array of X flares, almost a dozen of them coming from this spot, it wasn't until it turned away from Earth that it produced an X8.8, which is probably closer to X10 if it was facing Earth. It had already traversed around the limb. So the final blast was probably closer to X10, X12. And then the long duration M flare on the top left, holy macaroni, that had some spectacular power. So we are at solar max, and this may be the last big display, but I think we have a few more weeks to wait until some of these sunspots come around the limb. The current active region that has been going boom also faces Earth, and we see what this region is doing. Let's take a look at it. Currently, the latest HMI intensity, and this is the plage with just some sun pinpricks that put off that massive blast of a long-duration M flare after the X flare from the departing region. So pretty exciting times as we moved through solar max, and then eventually in the coming months, we'll drop down back into solar minimum through the next 4 or 5 years. Stay tuned for more updates. Wow, the chickens are going crazy. Quick look at telemetry here. The geomagnetic storm has not arrived. There has been no shock waves that have arrived either. So we're waiting potentially for an explosion in the aurora overnight. So make sure you get out and look up. Currently, the aurora forecast is bleak. But once that shock wave hits, the skies may, in fact, light up. Did you hear about this portal between New York and Dublin? Yeah, they put it up in, I don't know, somewhere downtown in New York City. It was closed just after a week due to inappropriate behavior. What did you think would happen? OnlyFans chicks went up there and showed their boobies, as well as people using drugs, 9/11 taunts, and other stupid stuff that only Americans would do. If this was actually broadcast to a country like in the Middle East where nudity is illegal, what do you think would happen to these people? So the innovative sculpture linking the two cities together was hijacked by lowbrow people intent on antisocial antics and cliques, which is the world we are now living in. Completely disgusting, filled with useless idiots. Speaking of useless things, full-blown financial meltdown. Offshore wind industry collapse accelerates. I can't even make this up. Do you know how many billions of dollars we've just sunk into the ocean or burned up on land, claiming that this is the future of electricity on Earth? Absolutely embarrassing. The whole electric car debacle, where you spend $70,000 to have a car for 6 years and then it's useless. Has anyone gotten the memo? Do you know how much toxic waste we're creating on Earth? It's absolute insanity. The Green Movement, the Democrat Party, all the greenies are literally toxifying the Earth, and they're claiming that they are in the right. It's gaslighting to the extreme. And, well, wind power is no further from the truth. One of the key players, offshore GE's renewable division, backed up a solid $2.24 billion loss in 2022, with a $1.4 billion write-off last year. Much of it is due to the insane cost of trying to generate occasional electricity hundreds of miles offshore in a highly corrosive marine environment where catastrophes happen like the one you're looking at here in the picture. Can you even believe that people claim this is the future of electricity and it's good for the planet? That doesn't look good for anything, by the way. Did you hear about this doctor? He's still cancer-free almost a year after incurable brain tumor diagnosis. They gave him 5 months to live, but his own pioneering treatment, wait for it, that boosts your immune system, your own immune system to fight off the cancer actually works. Do you remember when we had the flu? And they said that going outside was bad, vitamin C was bad, ivermectin, and all those things? Yeah. Same thing. They don't want you to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. They want you to be sick, stupid, and compliant. Bottom line. As the crops fail, China's $4 billion lychee harvest is devastated by extreme weather. And it wasn't heat, but they called it climate change. The nation's lychee harvest could be barely half last year's haul. Rapeseed and rice crops also threatened by protracted rains, thank you, Hunga Tunga, as well as extreme cold periods. But they left that out. And cold also has affected the global harvest of olives. Olive oil prices are spiking, and South Africa may benefit because they didn't lose their crops. It was in Spain and Italy where the main olive oil crops are. And unfortunately, we need olive oil. You know why? Because it's beneficial to your health. Here are 9 scientifically proven health benefits to olive oil. Number 1, extra virgin olive oil is full of polyphenols. Okay, we need the slideshow. Calm down. Extra virgin olive oil is full of polyphenols such as hydroxyzole and olenecanthal, which guard against oxidative stress. Well, and thanks to its copious oleic acid and polyphenols, olive oil promotes healthy blood pressure. Studies suggest that potent antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties of olive oil make it a good choice. And studies indicate that the polyphenols in olive oil guard against Alzheimer's disease, so you won't be dumb and forget the people you love. Monounsaturated fats and other things in olive oil are awesome. Yeah, they offer relief from inflammation, alleviable joint pain, and reduce the risk of inflammatory disease. And research suggests that olive oil is anti-inflammatory. Did we just say that like 50 times? All right, I'm done with this. You want to know how to be healthy, wealthy, and wise and never get sick? Do what I did 12 years ago. I changed my diet. I no longer, my main diet is not processed food or ultra processed food because it's cheap and in the center of the supermarket. I learned how to grow my own food over the last decade and a half and have been quite successful. We can produce almost all the food we need just from growing it in our rigid greenhouses and outdoors in one of the most extreme climates on Earth. We also have a chicken farm where we can supplement our vegetables and green leafy greens with eggs and, well, chicken if you want. And we also buy locally sourced meats, all organic, and we eat clean. We try to stay away from processed foods as much as possible. We've eliminated probably 90% of processed foods from our diet, and we've been eating clean for over a decade. In 12 years, I've never gone to the doctor. I've never been sick or incapacitated, and you can do the same thing. You know how to do that? Grow your own food. Come here to the Alliance, over there, to the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, and get the best, cheapest seeds on earth. This is coming from a nonprofit. They're not trying to gouge you like Baker Creek that's selling fake GMO purple tomatoes as organic. These are actually open pollinated, open source, heirloom vegetable seeds that you can seed save year after year to survive and thrive in the coming times, especially in a grid down scenario. You'll have your own crops, your own seeds that you can land race in your region for maximum success. If you buy more than $25 worth of the seeds, Shipping is free. Add coupon code ORP2024, all caps ORP, and you will get an additional 10% off. We'd love to see you get some of these seeds and help support the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers. And that is a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. And if you have a chance, you can still join us in Crow Canyon at the end of the month. I think it's Sunday, May 27th, 26th. Get your tickets now before they dry up. We love you. Be safe. And that's a boom. Share this.